Hey, welcome back to Bitter-Swede Garage. I'm back on the 54 Chevy Cummins project. Today I'm going to fill a bunch of holes in the firewall that I know I'm not going to be using. And we originally started out thinking we were going to do like a patina look on this truck, but it wasn't the original paint. So we decided to go a different direction. So it's going to be a long road. But only one way to get there, one step at a time. I already did a bunch of work to the firewall. It's not great. Again, I was just trying to piece it together. But I don't know how to do it. I'm not much of a fabricator, but I wish I would have rounded all these instead of, square edges, but it'll work. This is clearance for the exhaust pipe. And here's the inside. I did, these are for my bucket seats. And since I cut so much out of the firewall, I knew I needed to reinforce it, so I used a square tubing. Again, it's not pretty, but it's stout. And that's all that matters. Anyway, I'll get going on cutting some metal out. And then I've got a lot of tack welds in my future. So, here we go. I've had this Harbor Freight throatless shear for a long time, like 10, 12 years. I've never used it because I never had a stand. And I was like, I got a big chunk of wood, I'll just screw it to that. So, got this hole cut out. I mean, marked out. So, let's see if I can figure out how to use this thing. All right, this thing worked pretty good, other than wasting, figure out how to use it, but got this one trimmed up, left a little bit of a gap to make sure my welds get through, and then I can grind it flat without worrying about having the weld too thin. So I might start tacking this in, but I really just need to make whole patches for all these, and then I can bounce around so it doesn't get too hot in one area. So onward. I don't know how many of you guys have seen these things before, but they go on a roll lock, same as a roll lock disc, but they're really nice because they just eat the paint off and they don't dig into the metal too much. They leave a little tooth, but it's already pretty thin metal, so when welding I'm not very good, so I got to give myself the best shot. So get a little more paint off of there. And they work really well on the inside edges too. They don't dig in. I can't remember exactly what they're called, but if you just Google the old paint remover roll lock, I'm sure that'll come up. Here's another little trick. I use my stud gun here. Put a stud on this little patch. Do this one-handed. That way I can actually hold it. Kind of hold it in there and tack it in. I have some magnets, but they're kind of bulky and in the way, so that'll work. It's just kind of nice to have this on here. You'll see I can kind of put some leverage on it. Just a little bit. I can pull it out like that. So when I tack it, it's not sinking in. So I have all these little holes, little bolt holes I need to fill. I just had an idea. I'm gonna take my pneumatic air punch and then cut out some coupons, little things. I put tape on the back side. Doesn't need to hold it long and it'll melt, but I don't know if this hole is. It needs to be a little bit bigger. Yeah, that might work. Let me make this hole a little bit bigger with my step bit, which will clean up the hole anyway, and then we'll fit it in there. All right, I'm gonna focus on that. Got my little holes plugged. I guess this is a plug weld. Anyway, see if it works. All right, so the trick is getting this tacked without pushing the tape in. Here we go. Light out of the way. In the way. There we go. I think I barely got it, which is good. Tack that top edge. Yeah. That'll do. Sorry, it's fuzzy. That should work. All right, here's what I got so far. I got all my patch panels kind of tacked in, so they're kind of ugly right now. I wish I was on the other side of this, like the viewer, because the next time you see this, hopefully it'll be all ground down. So I got that in my future. I might have welded up more holes than I needed to, but oh well. I'll just drill some holes for the stuff I need. I'll keep this one for the wiring harness. And then I got the antenna. I'm gonna weld up the old mirror holes. And then I started doing a little bit. Don't look at that. There was like, no joke, this much Bondo in here. The funny thing is you can get to the back side of it. So I don't know why they felt the need to do that. Got a low spot here. Trying to like push it up with my jack. I might have to do some heat shrinking, which I haven't done in a while. Right now it's looking like Hellraiser. So, you know, if it rains, I don't want a ton of water forming a pond up there. But overall, this cab is really nice. Like, that's all nice and straight. Had a couple little boo-boos, but overall, really straight metal. I already replaced that cab corner. I think maybe a little bit. Yeah, I did that one too. So my goal is to get this thing in primer. And I gotta sand the inside. That's the funnest part. So anyway, holes, check. On to the next thing. Took a little sidetrack again from this, but it is on the same truck. I was able to borrow a tire, and this is like aired all the way up, so it's probably a little taller than ride height, but I do like the way that it fills the wheel well. The problem is it's a little too wide. So this is a 265/70 17. So we're getting closer, but just a little too wide, and I have a hard time finding wheels that have the, like, that's like a 4.5 inch offset. The ones I found in that size are 5 3/4, so that'd be sticking out way too wide past the fender. So, all right, on to the next test. All right, so the first round of welding is done. I'm gonna grind these down and then I'll probably find pinholes, weld it up again, grind it down, you know. And since I don't need the old brake pedal, I guess that's like a pad, gasket, seal, whatever, flange. So, I was trying to find the pinch welds. There's one down there, and then one there and one there. So, I'll drill that out without going all the way through, hopefully, because I don't need that anymore. All right, doing a little metal shrinking. Looks a little scary. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I'm trying to get, you know, the profile close. Something laying it on this at some point. But since that's a two-person operation, because you got a hammer and dolly when it's, you know, you heat it up to about a dime size, red hot, and then you hammer and dolly it. So got my buddy Troy's torch set up, which was really nice of him to let me borrow. And I owe him some gas money. So I'm trying to figure out, I think I'm gonna fill this today. I'm not using it. So come over here to this side. Got my Harbor Freight English wheel. So just have some scrap metal, trying to make that profile and go from there. All right, here's my little filler piece. Obviously it's not flush with the outside yet, but just sitting in there. Got the basic shape. Might take a little filler, but nothing too crazy. I use my shot bag here. I got a little bit of shape out of the English wheel, but that actually helped fine tune it. I've never used that before. It's another tool that I've had for a long time and I finally used it, so that's fun. So I'll get this tacked in here and kind of help shape it around a little bit while I'm tacking it. All right, so that looks pretty good. So I kind of started over here, made sure that it was centered, try to get an even gap all the way around. So it was a little tighter over here, but it all worked out. And then did up here and then down here, and then I could kind of tap up or down with this. And then fortunately I was able to get on the inside to kind of push out. You can see I'm getting good penetration on my welds. So I'm not a metal finisher, but I play one on TV. No, I'll probably want to use a little bit of filler. I think my little patch is a little high in the middle. But I've seen some where people just put a flat piece on the inside, tack it, and then fill it full of Bondo. I don't like that. Not one bit. Here it is, all tacked up. So I'm gonna grind it down and hopefully it's not too ugly. Well, it's not perfect, but it'll work. Like I said, I'm not much of a metal finisher. That is a true art that I don't possess. But the temptation is to grind this until all of the weld is gone. But all I would be doing is thinning out the metal on either side of it. And it's flat enough for, I don't know, maybe a 1/16 of filler. And obviously it's gonna look a lot bigger because it's gonna come out to here. But I feel a lot better about that than, you know, 1/4 inch or more of body filler. You can kind of see the kind of low around here. I'm a little high in the middle. Like I said, I got a couple little pinholes I got to weld up, but other than that, this is strong. It's not gonna fall out of there, and it'll keep the filler from cracking. Well, I found some more rust I need to delete. This whole cab is actually really pretty straight and rust free. This rocker looks great. I did replace this whole section on the other side because it was pretty bad, but This one's just got a little, but I need to get more cutoff discs, so here we go. Don't mind my Bluetooth. Take the old short change. Yeah. Oh, come on now. That feels good. All right, I'm back. Do you know what this is? This is 45 bucks. Anyway, let's get to cutting. So I got a couple spot welds that I need to drill out, and then I can peel this piece off. There we go. Got that back into shape. All right, so I got the inner cab support kind of cleaned up, put some zinc weld through primer on there, and then I made this paper template, and then cut it out of metal, got it formed up. I just painted the inside of this, so that's our fender bolt hole, and then these smaller ones are going to be plug welds along the edge. So we got some corrosion resistance now. Alrighty, got that all welded up, and I kind of like built this up with weld and then ground it down to kind of recreate that body line. You know, it's not bad. Turned out pretty okay. I also see my mess on the floor here from grinding. So, I mean, ideally you grind that and then you don't see where you welded it, but I'm not that good, so, you know. Sometimes I got it level, but I don't want to dig it all out, you know, make it weak. So a little bit of whoop and a shh, and it'll be good to go. So I'm probably gonna clean up really quick. I thought about putting some filler on. This filler, Evercoat Rage Extreme. The only thing extreme about that is the price. Wowza. It's amazing what filler costs these days, but you gotta do what you gotta do. So I really like this stuff. I've been using it a long time. Apparently it's been a long time since I bought a new gallon because yeah, it's expensive. Anyway, I'm gonna get cleaned up here and reorganize, go from there. All right, I got it all cleaned up here. It's nice having this cart because I don't have a ton of room in here, but I can move it around, clean stuff up, put all my tools away so that I can get them out again. Well, I couldn't resist putting a little filler on there. Most of that'll get sanded off, getting it all smoothed up, ready for primer. Alrighty, so I knocked down some of this filler, got it roughed out a little bit. I also ground down this weld here and here. Wasn't sure if I was gonna do it, but I'm glad I did. I put a plate in here to reinforce where the master cylinder goes for the brakes. So Got that kind of roughed out and started to clean up. Some of these edges are turning out real nice, but got some rust down in here I'm taking care of. I think I'm gonna put some POR 15 in here. I'll get as much rust out as I can, but that'll help slow it down. And then here's my fuel filler, filled fuel filler with filler. So that's actually looking pretty good. That blocked out nice. And then, you know, just for fun, the Falcon decided to give up the ghost on the fuel pump. But you know what? I'm not mad. That thing lasted, well, it sat for 20 years. It says Carter. I don't know if that's the original one. But it sat dormant for at least 20 years. And it worked for a while. So it's pretty easy. Just goes on the side down there somewhere. So, you know, multitasking once again. Anyway, thanks for watching. And we'll catch you next time.